Hey guys, this is a video that I've been wanting to do for a while. I just hadn't gotten around to doing it. Um, but today I want to do a video on establishing, uh, working on our connections with other people. Um, it's something that we take for granted, something that we don't put enough time into, investment into. Relationships that we have with people, whether they are friendships, whether they are partnerships, whether they are relationships like with your family, they all deserve the effort and the work and everything on both parts to form a connection rather than just having like a surface, empty, hollow relationship with someone. And I speak from experience on that because up until the last year or so, most of my relationships have been pretty surface. I mean, I've had a few friends. I have one of my oldest friend, Ashley, who is my very best friend in the whole entire world. We grew up together, and her and I have always had that connection. And even though we don't see each other that often, we don't talk as often as I'd like. You know, she was in California for several years. Whenever she came back and we started talking again and working on our relationship, it was almost like she never went anywhere, or life didn't come in between our friendship. And having that connection with somebody that it's like it's worth working on and maintaining that connection. I have another friend who I've been friends with for 12 years, and he and I have that connection. We've always had that connection. But as far as my other friendships, my other relationships with people, a lot of the time, like, I've kind of had this closet, if you will, where I keep the things like tucked in that I don't want people to know, or that like I'm too afraid to share, even though I know that most of the people that I would share that with would be fine. Our relationship wouldn't suffer from it at all. But there's always that fear that we have in forming a real, like, deep, meaningful, solid, honest, open connection with somebody. But speaking from experience and having that with a few people now, I don't know why anybody would want to have a relationship, friendship, partnership, otherwise, that didn't have that connection. Like, the difference in the quality of your relationship with another human being when you share that connection and you share that intimacy, if you will, that closeness, that honesty, having that as a two-way street between you and another person is like one of the coolest, one of the most beautiful, one of the most enjoyable, meaningful, adjective. It's one of the greatest things that I think you can have in life with another human being, is having that connection. And a lot of times people, especially in partnerships, you get focused too much on the physical connection that you have with each other. I know I've done it too. But you get too focused on that, and you get too focused on maintaining status quo, maintaining appearances, whatever, that you lose that. You don't work on that with the person you're with. And now that I've been through the relationships that I've been through and experienced the things that I've experienced, I absolutely refuse to have a relationship, to be in a committed relationship with another human being without having that connection first. I've always been the kind of person that the few relationships that I have had, I've jumped in like, okay, let's be together and then let's get to know each other, or like, just enough about them to know that you want to try being with them. And for me anyway, I can't speak for everybody, but for me, trying to establish that connection when you're also trying to form that loving, intimate relationship with somebody, it's hard. Like, having that connection, having that openness and that honesty with somebody else, of course it's going to bring you closer together. It's going to make you feel closer to that person. But for me, doing that with my friends has been amazing. Like, it has just been one of the coolest experiences ever. And especially in people that I haven't known, people that are relatively new in my life, uh, that I'm being open and honest about everything with. Like, it's just making this friendship that is still growing and still evolving. It's just making it so cool. Like, I don't know if I'm doing a good job at explaining this, but I think it's so important because how do you ever have a real, like, solid foundation with anybody if you don't have that open, honest communication, that open, honest connection with each other? I don't think you can. Like, I've felt connected to people I've been in relationships with before. Um, my last relationship, I was in 4.5 years. Obviously, I felt connected to her on some level because I was there for 4.5 years, you know what I mean? But I don't think that it was the right foundation. The right foundation is what I mean by that. Like, I think that it's super important to have that with people in your life. Like, it just makes life so much more enjoyable, and your relationships with people so much more enjoyable. And another thing is, like, don't take it for granted, because you never know when it's going to be gone, you know? You never know when your relationship with somebody is going to dissolve, because they do. Like, some people come and they stay forever, like Ashley, Her and I have been friends literally her whole life. She's 9 months younger than me. We've known each other since we were babies. We're practically sisters, And then you have people who are going to come and go. People that are going to be in your life for a year or two, 6 months, 4 years, 10 years, whatever. And then it's going to move on. But, like, everybody plays a part in your life. Everybody that comes into your life is there for a reason. And why not? Like, why wouldn't you want to have a connection with people who are going to be in your life? Like, it's a new revelation for me, like, to be honest. Because I always thought that I had good relationships with people until I finally had a good relationship with someone. And an open, honest, even the scary parts of myself, that more was me being afraid of it than me being afraid of showing someone else, And in opening that part of myself, like, I've also become a lot more comfortable with myself, become a lot more comfortable in my own skin, a lot more comfortable in where I'm at, a lot less afraid to stand up for what I believe and what I think, because I've always been pretty quiet, but not so much anymore. People don't really know how to handle that, but, the people that I have strong enough connections with, like, they're still around, And that's the whole thing. People that you have that true, genuine connection, that true relationship with, like, like I said, whether it's a friendship or intimate relationship with your family, people that are there for the right reasons, man, they're going to be there. And if you open yourself up and they can't handle it, they're not supposed to be there anyway, And it's really what I believe. Like, I think that if people can't accept you for your authentic self, then screw them, man. Because you need people in your life who are going to support you and love you, even when they know every detail about you. Like, that's the most important thing to me right now, is being honest and being open with people on who I am and what I'm about, what I will and won't put up with, And if they decide they can't handle that, sorry about you, man, But I just think that as humans, generally speaking, like, we need to not be so afraid to open up and just really, like, let people see us for who we are, because the things that we're so afraid of about ourselves oftentimes wind up being the strongest, coolest parts about us. And if we don't open up and let people see that, let people really see who we are, we're never going to have that strong connection with anybody else. And really, I think that's what makes relationships so great, is when you can be completely honest, completely open with that other person, get that in return, also an important part, because one-sided is exhausting. But when you find somebody that you have that with, and who also shares that with you, it is one of the most beautiful experiences.